Howdy, and welcome back to... What could possibly go wrong? You know, I was expecting to find something during the research of my Denver video, but I wasn't expecting him. You know who I'm talking about, right? The classic video game icon Bubsy. You don't? That's fair. Bubsy is one of the worst things to come out of gaming. NFT scams? Sonic 06? The CDI Zelda games? No. Bubsy. I'm playing it up a bit, but he's not good. Bubsy was one of the many mascot platformer series back in the 90s, but it wasn't a great one. It wasn't a Mario, a Sonic, Banjo, or Crash. Think Conker, or Gex, or Klonoa, but without a single ounce of charm or individuality. Bubsy was a nightmare. Don't believe me?
Come on, come on! Don't be shy! Step right up and win valuable prizes!
I rest my case. Bubsy's first game was released in May of '93, with Bubsy in Claw's Encounters of the Furred Kind. Released shortly after that, in November of the same year, Bubsy, What Could Possibly Go Wrong, was broadcast to the homes of some, I'd assume, and then was quickly buried and forgotten. Bubsy didn't stop there, though, as 3 more games released in the mid-90s, including the infamous Bubsy 3D. And then, it was revitalized in the late 2010s with The Woolies Strike Back and Paws on Fire, both of which were no good. I know you're here for the cartoon, though, so let's get to that. Bubsy. Take a shot every time I say Bubsy. You'll be dead in 2 minutes. Bubsy. What could possibly go wrong? Everything. Everything went wrong. Sponsored by Taco Bell, this pilot tried to be the next hit Saturday morning cartoon. It was made by Calico Entertainment, a subsidiary of WEP, and was directed by Tom Burton, who also directed Denver. It featured the voices of Rob Paulson, Tress MacNeille, and Jim Cummings, among others. With big names like those, it can't be that bad, can it? Well, when you look up Bubsy, What Could Possibly Go Wrong in Google, the first thing that comes up is a random family vlog. Strap in. The opening shot is... those eyes. I see those in my nightmares. One of the biggest things I love about 90s cartoons are their openings, but this one just isn't good. Like, the song is just some generic, unobtrusive rock and roll mixed with bits of comedic orchestra. Then you've got some silly sound effects and the line delivered by Bubsy.
What could possibly go wrong?
The reason this isn't a good opening is because if you don't have a good melody at the forefront, you have to have killer lyrics. You want to know what they are? Bubsy. 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 But really tells a whole story with that one. After that, we pan across the town into Bubsy's house as he tries to wake his good pal and roommate, Arnold the Armadillo, son of a bitch. Unfortunately, he seems to be too deep in his own worst nightmare of being hit by a semi-truck. Don't worry though, Bubsy wakes him by blowing into his tail and inflating his eyes right before the collision. Arnold fucking hates Bubsy, and he tells him that he's worse than a truck barreling down a highway at 70 miles per hour, moments away from turning him into a smear of armadillo on the asphalt. He wasn't that detailed about it. I just had a stroke of inspiration. Bubsy tells Arnold that the twins are coming to celebrate their birthday. This scares him so bad that he asks Bubsy to hide him under the couch. Before he even has a chance to open the door, the kids roll up on skateboards and immediately search for Arnold. Bubsy, just being the worst, straight up rats him out, and now Arnold is dealing with one of my biggest nightmares. Annoying children. To make matters worse, Bubsy turns on the news just in time to hear a report on armadillo deaths, triggering him to curl up in fear. This poor guy. There hasn't been a moment of this episode where he isn't being tormented. And that remains true because the twins decide to use this to their advantage and play with him as if he were a ball. In the meantime, Bubsy sees an interview with a character named Virgil Reality. Yeah, that name shouldn't have left the rough draft. He's talking about his imagination helmet, which can make anything you think of come true. He puts out an offer for idiots to test it because it has a tendency to explode. Instantly, Bubsy is intrigued. After telling the twins why with some odd live-action footage, he says it. He says the fucking line.
Hey, what could possibly go wrong?
We cut to the villain of the series, this large cat lady Allie, as she schemes to take the invention and use it to make her the most rich and powerful being in the universe. Bubsy wants it for fame, she wants it for wealth. Is there even a good guy here? I guess Virgil, because he wants to solve world hunger. But like, his name's Virgil Reality. Alright, fine, I'm done talking about his very stupid name. Speak of the devil, Bubsy meets the man himself. He tells him how his invention works, and Bubsy gives it a whirl. No one should give this guy any power, because the first thing he does with it is send them hundreds of feet into the sky. It flies off his head and onto Arnold's, and because Bubsy is a horrible person, the first thing that he reminds Arnold of is the truck. He takes the helmet back and puts them into Virgil's lab. Except for Arnold. Well, that's just fucking rude. Oh, hey, by the way, the twins were also falling from the sky. Don't worry, though, because apparently it made them bored. Who the fuck raised these kids? Criminals, I guess, because they steal the helmet right after they're told not to. The cat lady's goons spot them playing with the helmet. But instead of taking the helmet from them because they're little children, they ask for it and then get put on a roller coaster. Bubsy figures out that the twins took the helmet, and he says the line that better be set up for later because this is not fucking comedy.
Oh, I gotta lay off those breakfast burritos. Oh.
He says his catchphrase again,
What can possibly go?
and Arnold gets hit by the roller coaster. I don't like the concept of punching bag characters, but this poor guy doesn't get a single line or moment where it isn't just him being tortured. After they get hit again, we get a really mindfucky POV shot of the roller coaster. They get thrown off, and they're big now? Yeah, okay, they're fucking big now. Bubsy, in a surprising twist of events, scolds them for stealing the helmet. The goons try to steal the helmet again, but are thwarted by a corn dog. You know what? Same. Just kidding. It works out well for them, as the blast launches them into the helmet, and they get away. With the kids. Nice going, Bubsy. No, real great job. Bubsy electrocutes Arnold, and that gives them the confidence he needs to save the day. They walk into Allie's lair and fight for the helmet in classic smokeball style. Each of them ends up with a helmet, including Arnold with the truck, but I really think the idea of a truck ringing a doorbell just to crash through it anyway is really funny to me. Bubsy gets the helmet and saves the day, even though it explodes. I don't know, man, don't ask me. Bubsy electrocutes Arnold again, and that's the entire show. You know, I don't think it was truly that bad. Other than Bubsy and the twins, the characters weren't the worst. The plot was silly enough, the animation was fine, but there wasn't anything there that would make me want to watch this over like a Tom and Jerry or a Scooby-Doo. It wasn't even laughably bad like the Zelda and Mario shows. It was just... I guess that's why it never picked up a full run or hell, any other episodes. I think the Bubsy team thought they struck gold due to the first game's success, but the only thing this show had going for it was the fact that it was adapted from a video game. And well, Bubsy wasn't going far. Every game beyond the first one sold worse and worse. This shitpost of a fan game has gotten better reception than almost every official Bubsy game. The show didn't have any other episodes, so I'd feel kind of bad for rating it normally. It gets a, this idea shouldn't have left the rough draft, out of 10. Well, I'm gonna go drown my sorrows with an unhealthy amount of those Nerds Cluster things. What could possibly go wrong?
I'm gonna throw up.